Well, this is a video for a Lexus RX 300. This is an SE version. Car's finished in astral black with the black leather interior. 83,224 miles on the clock. Car's had just one private lady owner from new. In really lovely condition, just with the exception of just the odd mark here or there, but very, very few and far between. I'll just go around the car for you just to show you. So, lenses on the front there, completely clear, no cracks or damage on them at all. Bonnet is mostly free of stone chips. There's a few, but they're very, very few and far between, and they're very, very small indeed. Down here on the front bumper, there's a couple of little marks, a little scag there, but anything, you know, they touch them in relatively easy, and a couple down there, but actually they feel as though they'll just polish off actually, but they're very, very small. But it really is a very crisp looking car. Front wing is completely unmarked. Front tyres are Dunlop with absolutely tons of tread. And the alloy, for one of the, I mean, if anyone knows the Lexus brand well, then they do suffer with alloy issues with corrosion, but this is actually really quite good. The only corrosion really is noticeable just around the wheel nuts there. But coming down the flank of the car, it's all in absolutely super condition. Very, very few marks on the car. You know, with black cars are notoriously difficult to keep in good condition, that they look superb, but this one is, in fact, as good as you'll see. You know, for the age of the car, it really is in fabulous order. So rear tyre again, another Dunlop, a really good sign of ownership, that it really is. And again, alloy exactly the same as the other one, really, really good. Just a minimal amount of corrosion, just peeling through on the paints at the wheel nuts there. So just come to the back of the car. Obviously a genuine UK car, it's got the rails and everything on the vehicle, but really handsome looking vehicle actually. Around the back of the car itself, again all in very good order, just a few little marks you can just see on the bumper there, but you know they are very, very small. Just a couple more there. But, you know, anyone who's sort of handy with a little touch in brush should get rid of most of that very easily indeed. So coming down the near side flank of the vehicle, again, all really clean and crisp. I can hardly see an indentation or car parking dent. It's rare to see a car in as good condition as this. It really, really is. And again, another Dunlop tyre. This alloy is probably the best of all of them so far. Absolutely super. Just the tinsiest bit of corrosion. It was really minuscule. And then down the flank here again. You know, again, the odd little mark, but you know, very, very, very small indeed. And then front wing. Final Dunlop tyre, so full set all the way around. I said I love that on cars. You know, there's no cheap tyres on this car at all. It's a really good sign of ownership. But you know, really, really good car in, you know, very, very, very nice condition. Oh, there was a mark on the front which we're going to get done, by the way. So just here, you just see. So what company coming in just caught something. It's only just got to the paint very slightly. But our company's going to come in and get that done for us. So on the exterior, that's the only mark of any note. And even that's going to be done prior to the car being sold. Let's just come into the boot area of the car now, just to show you. Obviously on these Lexus you've got an electric tailgate. I just want to show you that in operation, so it all works absolutely perfectly. Coming inside the boot area, absolutely cavernous boot. It is absolutely huge in the back here. Beautifully finishes the expect of any Lexus, but all the carpeted area looks in really, really top condition. It's been sort of very, very, very well kept car. Underneath you've got these little stowage areas, so you've got your lock and wheel nuts there, full set of tools, and underneath these little areas here, just pop them up by pressing the buttons. There you've got your tonneau cover there as well for the car, which is all good and intact. So it does come with the car, we're just not showing it in the boot of the vehicle, but it's in, you know, really, really top condition. And just show you the boot going down, just to show it all works absolutely as it should. So coming into the back of the car, rear door card there. There's a huge amount of rear leg room in the car. It's absolutely cavernous in the back again. It's just a massive amount of space. All the leather work is in lovely condition in here. It really is. You know, they are beautifully built cars. Just to point out that underneath these seats here, there's a little bar that you can pull up, and you can just pull the seats forward a good sort of 6 inches or so to extend the boot area. So if you've got either kids with young kids with sort of shortish legs, then you can pull them right forward, or if you've got no passengers at all, you can really maximise the boot space. Right, let's come into the front of the car now. Driver's door card. Obviously you've got this lovely sort of wood inlay on this spec Lexus as well. It's all in fine order. There's no sort of cigarette burns or anything on the car. It doesn't smell of smoke inside anyway, so it's a moot point. All the sort of painted areas and buttons in really top condition. Sill area, all in very, very nice condition. Driver's seat, really good. The only sign of wear on the seat is just on the bolster here. It hasn't gone through, it's just the painted surface of the leather. I just got that's an absolutely minuscule amount, which we've left completely original. We haven't touched it at all. But the seat itself, it's all in really fine order. Very, very, very comfortable cars. I've had 2 or 3 of these at least, and they are really nice cars. Passenger seat, again, all in absolutely fabulous order. On this model again, you've got a electric sunroof, so it's tilt-a-fair, and then you can slide it back as well. It all works absolutely perfectly. Right, so inside the car now, just to show the passenger door card, again as with the drivers, in absolutely super condition. You know, all the switches, the armrest area is really, really good indeed. The whole dashboard looks incredibly fresh for the car of its age. It just, you know, looks better than my 2008 inside. Big screen sat-nav system on the car, and obviously on these cars, if you drop them into reverse, I'm just doing now, you get a lovely crystal clear rear camera there as well. Everything works exactly as it should on the car, so you've got little functions there. You can obviously go into the climate control system. Again, it's blowing out lovely cold air as well, and other sort of sub menus as well if you really want to. But it's just, you know, it works absolutely fabulously. All switches in really top order. The only one which I point out on the following video, someone's pinched, which is rather charming of them, the power button for the radio. So we've ordered a new one from Lexus. So whoever pinched it, thank you very much. Automatic gearbox, and again the lever, all the wood inlays are in absolutely superb condition here. Huge stowage area, just press a button there, that all opens up and shuts absolutely perfectly. Coming across here, multifunction steering wheel, so we've got volume control for the radio, hands-free system, and cruise control system which works again absolutely fine, as showed on the following video as well. Dashboard there, engine running as you can see, no warning lights on the car, just the fuel lights popped on at this stage, but everything in here in wonderful original condition and, you know, really fabulous order. Ring mirrors, electric folding, just to show you, they all work exactly as they should. Finally, just to go down here, I've got the original owner's manual pack for the car, and as you saw in the boot, the lock and wheel nut sets in the back of the car as well, so everything that was with the car is still with the car. Right, this is a video for a Lexus RX 300 SE. The car is registered HG05OXZ, and the mileage at the start of this brief road test is 83,233 miles. The reason we do these road tests is basically we're now selling to customers from all over the near continent and the extremes of the UK, and we've decided, or we feel it's right, that if people are willing to invest their time, energy and money to come and see us, the least we can do is to show you the car in operation prior to coming to see us as well. And I can feed back any information I can about the car, warts and all, and hopefully then you can decide whether it's worth the trip to us. I do these tests on exactly the same roads as you'll be doing yourself. They're generally nice, quiet country roads, which is part of our new setting now. And I'll go through in much the same sequence of events that you'll do yourself when you come and drive the car. So, starting with the engine of the car, classic Lexus engine, you know, silky smooth, absolutely beautiful. Starts on the button. There's no warning lights relating to the car at all. I can't feel, I mean, you never really can, but I can't feel any vibration coming back through the car from the engine itself. It makes a beautiful kind of yowl as it revs up the rev range in typical V6 fashion. But it pulls very sweetly, very cleanly right throughout its entire rev range, and so it idles absolutely perfectly. You know, it doesn't fluctuate in any way, shape or form. The engine then runs through to the gearbox. Again, very much sort of Lexus forte. That it's a beautiful gearbox, very, very slick shifting. Very, very high quality affair down there. We've never touched one of these things. It changes gear absolutely beautifully. When you engage gear from cold, it engages slickly and smoothly and silently. There's no bangs or thumps when it goes into gear, either into first or reverse from stationary. So in essence, the actual drive of the car, mechanically, engine, gearbox, I can't find faults with. So driving along, the car tracks bullet straight. There's not a hint of a vibration coming back through the steering of the car. What I tend to look for when I'm driving these cars, especially something a little bit older like this one, certainly compared to some of our other stock, is just feeling out for any kind of looseness in the chassis, which may suggest you might have a bit of play in the steering components like the rack or the track rod ends, ball joints, that kind of stuff. And I can't feel anything. There's nothing coming back through the steering wheel. It shouldn't be there. It's got a lovely tightness about it, and there's no looseness to the drive of the car at all. Likewise, the suspension of the car, is a very smooth riding car. They're incredibly comfortable, and apart from hearing it going over bumpers you've got there, there's no aftershocks. There's no kind of mechanical clunks or bangs coming from underneath, which would again just suggest that it might have a rubber bush or an anti-roll bar little link arm chattering away under there. But there's nothing at all. It's it just shows just how well built these Lexus cars are, and they are. I've got one myself, so I know just how good they are. It glides along absolutely beautifully. So it's going to be a challenge now. We've got close to the world's biggest pothole about to come up. So, oh God, it's horrible. Suspension, steering, all absolutely spot on. Brake pedals nice and solid. There's no pulsing coming back up through the brake pedal itself. Again, which suggests that you haven't got any kind of warped discs or excessive wear in the braking system of the car. As I drive along, I tend to listen out for any kind of wind noises that are coming into the vehicle, which would give a clue to kind of maybe a perish seal, a windscreen not fitted quite right. But it's very, very, very refined, even by current day standards. It's a very smooth, quiet drive, and there's nothing there that it shouldn't be there at all. Looking at the interior of the car, the car is literally in the last 10 minutes been delivered to us. The driver was eulogising by just how nicely the car drove actually, but doubting Thomas, I'd sort of tend to like to find out for myself. But looking inside the car, it's in really, really lovely order in here. It's a very high quality machine, they really are. But this one's been kept in beautiful condition. It's not a huge mileage on the car, quite the opposite actually. So just turning around, it's kind of the halfway point. But yeah, it's just all the plastics are in really, really fabulous condition. It looks a lot younger than the car is. You've got this lovely big clear sat-nav system. Obviously you pop that into reverse, it'll gives you a nice crystal clear parking camera. That all works absolutely perfectly. All the painted plastic parts are in really top condition. I can't see anywhere at all. The only thing I will point out is some thieving Herbert has nicked the stereo button off there, so that's a charming thing for someone to do, but we'll get a new one popped on the car. But it really is in absolute. I've had my older one, I had an 08 hybrid which I've just sold, which was a very good condition. I don't think it was in as good condition as this one inside. The plastics just have that feel of a much, much, much younger car about them. What's nice about them, they're just really dead easy to use in an age where you've got a big button, you've got to go to loads of little sub menus and you spend more time looking at the button than you do at the road, which isn't exactly an ideal situation. You've just got really dead simple controls, just climate control, all operated off there. Incidentally, the air conditioning is pumping out ice cold air. It's 21 degrees outside. It's a real muggy day actually, it's lovely today, but that is ice cold, so that's working perfectly. Come across the steering wheel, obviously a multifunction steering wheel, so you've got audio top left, and on this one you've got your hands-free system as well, which is built in. Cruise control down here, which works absolutely perfectly. I've set it now, foot off the accelerator. I can accelerate using that. Likewise, and that works absolutely perfectly. Obviously all the stalks, again, everything here is just doesn't look like it's really been used much at all. The binnacle here, you know, really lovely, legible, clear instruments. Looking at it now, we've got, you know, the rev counter working perfectly. There's no pixelation. There's no scratches or marks on the perspex at all on, you know, on the dash itself. Temperature gauge is just under half, which is exactly where it should be on these cars, or thereabouts. And it runs like an absolute dream. It really does. It's a very, very, very well made car. You know, just try the wipers just to make sure there's no smearing or otherwise. No, they're all in really nice order as well. It's been well looked after, so that doesn't come as any great surprise at all, to be honest. But they do drive really, really well. I mean, it's and the other thing is, you know, normally when you get to this age, if you're looking at its main competitors, would, you know, there's two of them in essence. There's, you know, kind of the ML Mercedes and the X5s, and the horror stories attached to those cars when they get older, you know, with, you know, terrible electrical issues and you know various sort of maladies with its sort of gearboxes and otherwise. And here's a car which, you know, Lexus said at the time, slightly arrogantly, you know, in the pursuit of perfection, as they called it, you know, it's a car which, you know, doesn't, not to say it never suffers a fault, of course it will, it's a car, but they are astonishingly reliable and well made and capable of absolutely massive mileages, which is why obviously you've got to be very careful that, you know, if you get in a car with 80,000 miles, it should look like it, which is exactly what this looks like inside. It's wonderful condition. If this showed any sort of noticeable wear inside, then you'd have to say that, you know, you'd have to question the mileage. But, you know, so having had, I don't know, it must be 3 or 4 at least of these particular types of ones. I've had the hybrids as well. I'd say this drove every bit as well as my last one, which had only done sort of 40,000 miles or so. I could not separate it. It's, you know, worth pointing out again, I mean, astral black exterior and the black leather interior, you know, is absolutely the colour combination of choice. The lighter interiors are nice in terms that they bring a lot of it, sort of a light into the vehicle. Otherwise it's quite dark like it is in here. But they do show you know, can look quite grubby, especially with a bit of family use. Whereas this looks absolutely superb condition, and with this lovely wood inlays in there as well. Very tastefully done, actually. It's you know, it's a, you know, the perfect combination for this type of car. So I'm just going to whiz by the bus a second. So just having a quick scan around the interior, just see if there's any kind of, you know, apart from the missing button there, whether there's anything at all that, you know, that merits any kind of. Sometimes you kind of look around again and see a little sort of cigarette burn or a little scag on the plastics. But I genuinely can't see a thing. I mean, this is going to, you know, with a tiny bit of valeting, you know, it's going to come up as an absolutely beautiful example. We knew it was, but, you know, we've already been to see the car, but it's just nice to see, you know, sometimes you see something a second time round, you missed a couple of things, even though you try not to after years of doing it. But I have to say, this is a you know, absolutely fabulous example of one of these cars. It really is. It's worth pointing out, we just stopped here actually at junction 14 of the M5, which is just north of Bristol. This is actually the junction you come off to come to our new site, which is literally 30-40 seconds up the hill, which we're going to be going up in a second. It just means that, you know, test drives now, as opposed to when we're in Bristol, you know, are very quiet, relaxed affairs, as you've just seen here. You know, and this is, you know, it gives you a chance to sort of drive the cars at a sensible speed rather than, you know, the crawl in the traffic in Bristol itself. So I'm just going to let the engine work around a bit. It's just really lovely, sweet bellow to the engine. But this is, you know, again, it shouldn't be underplayed. You know, it's quite a tall car, but this is quite a tight corner, and especially this next one is an off camber. It's a horrible corner actually, but I love it to drive it. But a lot of these four drives will just keel over and flop around. This just sits in lovely and flat. absolute minimum of fuss. It's a really fabulous car to drive along. You know, there's very few cars that I've driven, you know, quite often up to the northeast of England and come out the other side with and felt sort of reasonably refreshed. Well, you know, I'm sort of suffer from bad backs, and this is one of the very few cars that, you know, I can get to the other end and still able to walk. It's a fabulous car. Basically, that kind of concludes this brief test. It's that I hope this has been of use to you. If there's anything I've missed on the road test, then, you know, don't hesitate, do give us a call. But based on what I've driven on this vehicle at this stage, it drives absolutely beautifully, and you'll be chuffed to bits with it.